Hey, my friends, before the show starts, I want to ask you guys for a little bit of help. My dog, Chicano, recently had surgery, which a lot of you helped me pay for, and I can't tell you how grateful I am. Unfortunately, we've found out that he has cancer, and that it's worse than we originally thought. So, he's beginning chemotherapy and having tests run all the time, and it's getting very, very expensive. I've already charged it all to my credit card, but if you want to help just a little bit, all you have to do is go to weeklyspooky.com and click on Help My Dog. Any amount helps, and I really do appreciate it. Now let's get on with the show. Things are getting mighty intense as the Angel of Death is closer than ever to having her secret identity revealed. She's been able to explain away so many things, but can she explain away a bullet wound? And even more so, possibly getting caught red-handed in the act of murder.
What's that? You want to be scared? Come with me. You will experience tales of horror, ghosts, and death. It is not recommended for the weak at heart. Listen in the dark. It's more fun that way. This is Weekly Spooky.
Hello, my spookies. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for a little spooky in your weekly. And this week, things are getting mighty intense as we head into part 3 of Raige's End. If you haven't heard the other installments, I highly recommend you go back and give them a listen. It's quite an epic tale we're weaving right here at Weekly Spooky, and I can't wait to unveil the next part. But before that, I just want to say, thank you so much for listening to the show. We love bringing you a taste of Halloween multiple times a week, every week. And we have something very special planned for our 200th episode coming up in just a few months. Also, if you want to help us out, you can go to your favorite podcasting app, whether it's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or the like, and leave us a 5-star rating. It costs you nothing, and it helps new people discover the program by knowing that your enthusiasm is very high for our spooky. And if you want to help in an even more direct way, you can go to weeklyspooky.com, click on Patreon, and join us for as little as $1 a month in keeping the spooky coming, and at the very least you get a bonus episode every month, and now we're getting ready to introduce live watch parties for scary movies, so there's never been a better time to join at weeklyspooky.com and click on Patreon. Ooh, but now I feel a chill in the air, my friends, because we're about to see what's next in the Angel of Death saga. Can she get out of this? Can she wrap everything up in a neat little bow like she always has before? Or is this truly Raige's end? We'll find out after these quick words. Previously on Raige's End. Raige Deveraux has been the Angel of Death for many years, destroying the worst of the worst. When Raige failed to claim the Queen of Hearts killer, it would return to haunt her. On her college graduation day, Raige receives a mysterious note. Now a full-fledged detective, she investigates a crime scene with her new partner and fiance, Drake Kazmarak. Drake drives to an abandoned summer camp outside of Strickfield, and upon his investigation, he finds evidence that the Angel of Death may be there. After capturing and unmasking a different serial killer, Drake leaves the camp to find and help Raige. He eventually discovers the river house and enters to find the kidnapped Delphine Brewster Sloan tied up in one room and the sounds of a skirmish in another. Raige quickly escapes before Drake can identify her, but Drake is very determined and draws his gun to shoot the Angel of Death. Raige manages to lose him, only to find that Drake had succeeded in shooting her. And now, Raige's End, Part 3, by Rob Fields. Perspective. Raige. Drake was so determined to finally capture me that he resorted to shooting at me. Unfortunately, one of his bullets connected. Not being able to feel pain is a double-edged sword for me. Obviously, the downside is not feeling that you've been injured, or realizing I may be bleeding out. I quickly remove my t-shirt and use it to apply pressure to my wound and slow down the bleeding. I turn and start walking again. It's going to be a little bit before I reach a safe house. Indian Hollow Road is usually deserted at night, which means no one should drive by and see me wearing just a bra with a bloody t-shirt at my side. After a little bit, I walk across the bridge that's supposed to be one of Strickfield's local legends, the Crybaby Bridge. After making it to the other side, I keep walking. In another mile, I see one of my safe houses and walk until I finally reach it. I go inside the rotted garage and fire up the generator to get power to the house. I leave the garage and go inside. I don't feel Drake will find me here. I turn on the lights. Since the windows are boarded up solid with wooden slabs, I don't have to worry about anyone possibly driving by and seeing someone's in here. Now I need to take care of my wound. I open a kitchen drawer where I keep medical supplies and pull out everything I need to take care of my wound. When you've been a serial killer as long as I have, you know how to prepare for this kind of thing. This isn't the first time I've been injured doing my work. When I pour the alcohol on the cloth for disinfecting, I know it's not going to hurt much. In fact, I only feel slight tingles. Secondly, I pull some sterilized pliers out of a pot of boiling water and go into the wound. It takes a little digging, but I'm able to pull the bullet out. I feel almost no pain in doing this. Finally, I pull the hook out of the boiling water that I'll be using for the stitches. I barely feel anything as I take my time and make sure the flesh is carefully sewn up, nice and secure. When I'm all finished, I have perfect stitches. All that's left is to clean myself up and destroy these clothes. I only have running water hooked up to the downstairs. The plumbing upstairs doesn't work, mainly because the bathroom was torn out, as in no sink or tub or toilet. No matter. Before I leave the house, I get naked and throw my bloody clothes into the fireplace. Once I'm sure the fire has destroyed the evidence, I walk out the door and into the chilly night. I walk a quarter of a mile to get back to the Castalia River. When I reach the water, I lower myself into its chilly embrace and submerge myself. I take my time and wash all the blood off my skin. When I've finished, I come out of the river and walk back to the safe house. Along the way, I realize I can't return to Drake's apartment. Drake's not going to just ignore my stitches upon seeing them, and I certainly can't withhold my body from him since we both desire intimacy with each other so much. Remember, I crave sexual contact like my bloodlust demands lives. If I withhold sex from Drake for too long, he's going to know something is wrong. I know he loves me so very much, but he's also not stupid. He'll eventually realize that he shot me and determine I'm the angel of death. From there, I would be at his mercy. Also, I can't go back to the police station. Drake would eventually see me there and start questioning me. It'll be even worse if Jeffrey, his uncle, and my boss was to get involved too. No, I'll have to remain in the wild until I can come up with a plan to be able to pass off my wound without outing myself as the one serial killer Drake's obsessed with capturing. When I return to the safe house, I go back inside and find some fresh clothes I stashed here. After putting them on, I find my emergency stores of food and drink and have a meal. The more I think about everything, the more I realize I'm not going to be able to lie about my stitched wound. Sure, I could say it was Rigby who shot me. Drake's too thorough, however. He would only find my gun at Rigby's river house. It wouldn't take him long to determine it hadn't been fired. It's no good. Drake will ultimately learn that I'm the angel of death and that I'm not so sweet and innocent. Then he'll forget he ever loved me. He'll turn on me and put me away. Or kill me. If I had emotions, I suppose this would be the part where I'd feel fear, loneliness, or perhaps even the pain of knowing things will never be as they were with Drake and me ever again. At the same time, I knew I couldn't possibly be able to do the work forever. I had that one chance to claim Rigby Brewster. But I was much too sick to be able to finish her off. As a result, I almost died that night, and she got away. Now Rigby seems to have this romantic fixation with me. She seems to think we're kindred spirits or something. One way or another, I'm going to settle this loose end, and that's Rigby Brewster. After I've claimed her life, I'm going to have to leave Strickfield and move on to other cities. I'll have to establish new identities and live new lives, all while continuing the work. But Rigby must come first. Rigby must be stopped. After I finish my meal, I determine I'm well enough to return and confront Rigby again. I just hope that Delphine was able to get away after I freed her before Drake pursued me. I exit the safe house and turn off the generator before I leave the property. From there, I walk Indian Hollow Road to eventually return to Rigby's river house. Perspective, Drake. I wake up after conking out for a little bit. Raige? I call out. When I don't hear her, I get up and look around. I'm in one of the cabins at Camp Rolling Hills. Clearly Raige isn't here. I call her phone again. Straight to voicemail. Now I'm really worried about her. I get up and walk around the camp, replaying today's events again and again as I remember them. Raige and I split up to try and find Rigby Brewster. I remember seeing her walking off on her own and heading down toward the Castalia River. At first, I wondered why she didn't just take a squad car. I gave my fiance the benefit of the doubt. She's highly intelligent and helped our PD solve many cases. I've seen her work while shadowing her when she was still an intern. Still, something about today's events just doesn't add up. Also, I was this close to getting the Angel of Death, confirming she's a woman. No wonder she was able to evade me for as long as she did. For years, I was chasing a man. Unfortunately, I didn't get a good look at her. All I could see was her back. The way she ran, I could tell she was athletic. Damn it. It was too dark to even be able to see what kind of clothes she was wearing, what color her hair was, or her hairstyle. She even grabbed hold of me at this camp and shoved me right through a door, and I still didn't get a good look at her. She was on me so fast. In fact, I was on my back before I realized what had happened. One thing's for sure now. You just made this quite personal, Angel. In fact, you should have just killed me when you had the chance. After calling Raige's phone again without success, I head back to my car and leave the camp. I pull back out onto Indian Hollow Road and drive back to that river house. I should still find Rigby Brewster there. I'm hoping her mom got out of there and called the police. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I've let this obsession with the Angel of Death drive me too far over the edge. If it wasn't for being with Raige, I'd still be losing sleep at night over Annie's death. Even Uncle Jeffrey's given me hell many times, telling me to drop my obsession, even reminding me that we never talk about her at the station. Ever. Yeah, Uncle Jeffrey may condone what she's done, but God damn it, I owe it to Annie. We'd been through too much together for me to just let the angel of death get away with what she did to her. I can't believe the angel of death really is a she. I'm still trying to piece everything from today together. I know there's a solution here. And then, like a sledgehammer, a new possibility suddenly hit me. I shake my head and tighten the steering wheel. I really don't want to be right about the idea I just had, but it's the only logical one that makes sense right now. I just know I've got to get back to that river house. That's where the answers to all of this are. Again, I just pray I'm wrong. Perspective. Rage. I reach the river house again. The front door is wide open. Like before, I exercise caution before walking in. With Rigby Brewster, you just never know. I enter the house and head back upstairs. I turn to the right to see that again, Rigby Brewster Sloane has been captured. Only now she's been tied to the bed and gagged. I stopped to free her before running from Drake. If Delphine fled, it didn't take Rigby long to recapture her. Suddenly, the light comes on. As before, Rigby's wearing her skimpy robe. Her hands are behind her back. Again, she's looking at me with her insane affection and obsession. I knew you'd come back, Reagan. Then she gestures to her mother. For her. Are you really that obsessed with killing people and taking their hearts? I ask her. She utters a romantic sigh. You claim bad people's souls, my love. That's why you're the angel of death. My mother here believes in you. She really thinks you were sent here by God to be his instrument of death. Now a dismal sigh. I know you came back here to claim me. Rigby starts crying again. Are you truly going to break my heart the way my mom did? The way Franklin did? That's why I'm doing this, you know. Rigby tightens her fists. I just want to be loved, Reagan. I just want to have somebody I can love and be happy with for the rest of my life. At first, it was Franklin Sloane. Then my goddamn mother here had to marry his dad. Then you came into my life, Reagan. And now I've fallen so deeply in love with you. She wipes away her tears. But you can never love me back, can you? You can't when you don't feel emotions. Again, I'm so deeply sorry for you. If you had emotions, you'd know what truly drives me to do what I do. Her hurt turns into anger now. If I can't ever have that special someone, then I'm just going to collect as many hearts as I can get. I will have love, one way or another. Suddenly, she pulls something out from behind her back. This was once Franklin's heart, only he truly gave it to me. He loved me, Reagan. I loved him. He stopped loving me when he decided there was no point in being together after Mom and his dad got married. After that, Franklin fell in love with you. Then, during that dark and snowy blizzard night over a year ago, you made me fall in love with you. I knew Franklin still loved you, even though you were with Drake. So I found Franklin and took his heart to eliminate my competition. She starts crying again. I will have you, Reagan, body, soul, and heart. I will have you. I make her an offer. Let your mother go then, Rigby. Release her, and I'll become your lover. Rigby shakes her head. I can feel you're lying to me. You need to give me a promise that I can trust. I need something of far more value than just your word. I look her in the eyes. Rigby, I swear, if you don't release your mother, if you take her heart, then you'll never have me. Delphine has nothing to do with you and me, and this is about you and me. It always has been, since that night. Rigby shakes her head with more anger now. I said I need more from you! She pulls my gun out from behind her with the other hand and aims it at Delphine. Give me something I know I can trust or I'll fucking kill my mom right here and now! I remember my time with Annie Judge and how I've used my own body as a weapon. I have even determined that I would have sex with my victims if it came down to it. I've come close on a few occasions, even with Annie Judge. But Rigby here has too much resolve now. I can't possibly bluff my way into getting Delphine free again. I must use my body as a weapon, once again. Without another thought, I remove my clothes until I'm standing, naked before her. I'll give you everything if you release your mom. Rigby seems to soften up now. Wow, you really are beautiful, Reagan, she whispers. Then she drops Franklin's heart and my gun and moves to her mom. She picks up a knife and cuts her loose. Go on, get out of here. Delphine seems dazed as she tries to stand. I can faintly smell chloroform. Still, Delphine manages to leave the room. Rigby removes her robe to be naked with me. I can see from the physical standpoint why Franklin might have desired her. Keeping my word, I come into Rigby so we can kiss. I find myself again dreaming of feeling emotions, as Rigby gives me so much of hers with her kisses and the way she caresses my flesh. She seemingly melts into me as I return her caresses. My physical feelings want me to experience Rigby in full sexuality. In fact, I'm wondering if being with her full time will truly keep innocents safe, so that she won't kill any more of them for their hearts. When we fall onto the bed together, I feel more physical cravings growing within me. I know I've committed myself to Drake, but being unable to love him emotionally, over time I've found my physical feelings making me want to experience others. Maybe I should just leave Strickfield with Rigby. She's certainly right about us being two of a kind. My relationship with Drake will end when he learns who I am and what I do. Knowing this, I lose my restraint and engage in the full sexual experience with Rigby. As we truly experience one another, I can see that Rigby certainly is a beautiful creature herself, in spite of how tainted and damaged she is on the inside. I'm certainly one to talk. I'm just as damaged on the inside as she is. No, probably more since I've been claiming lives for far longer than she has. Rigby and I continue experiencing each other to the fullest, holding nothing back. When Rigby and I finish, we get dressed. Then we face each other again and kiss softly. She begins to cry again. When your precious Drake finds us, he'll take you away from me. You'll go back to him. She tightens her fists now. I'm so sick of having love taken from me. Why do people always hurt me? Rigby suddenly loses it and comes at me. You truly don't love me, Reagan. You can never love me. If I can't have you, then no one can. I try to reason with Rigby, but it's pointless. She's too angry now. The two of us start fighting again. It's not long before Rigby kicks me in my injured area. I don't feel the pain, but I do feel the impact. I also feel the slight wetness, and know Rigby's injured me. This is really it. It's our fight to the finish now. Perspective, Drake. After screeching to a halt, I get out of the car and run back into the house. I have my gun drawn. This time I can hear people talking upstairs. I slowly head up, being as quiet as I can. Thankfully, these stairs aren't creaky. When I'm near the top, I hear, Thank you for sacrificing yourself to free me, Reagan, Delphine Brewster Sloan says. I couldn't just leave you here. You actually turned against your own daughter to help me. I am God's servant, Reagan, and he would expect me to assist his angel of death, even if it meant my life would be over here on Earth. I gasped to myself. Delphine's just confirmed. The angel of death is Raige, confirming my latest hunch that made everything make sense, but made nothing make sense. I understand, Raige says, and you have my gratitude. You may want to leave now. You're not going to want to see what I do next. A pause. Unless you intend to stop me and save your daughter now. No, Delphine tells her without hesitation. No, I won't interfere with the Lord's will. I've tried, and I have tried to bring Rigby back to God, but she refused to know his love. You are God's angel of death, so you must do God's will. I will not stop you, Reagan. I peek out from the corner and see Raige carrying someone into the room at the far end of the hall. Delphine is walking behind them with a crowbar in her hand. I quickly and quietly come out into the hallway and creep along until I come to the door. Raige secures Delphine's serial killer daughter to the table, tying her up with bungee cords. The angel of death always uses bungee cords. I manage to see how Raige secures Rigby. Yeah, there's no way Rigby's getting out of those. Delphine just stands there and looks at Raige intently as she clutches the crowbar. I can't tell if she's looking on at Raige in admiration or if she's going to attack her from behind with the crowbar and try to save her daughter. Raige finishes securing Rigby, who starts to stir. When she finally wakes up, she sees where she is and that she's secured. So, this is how it is? Rigby asks Raige, sounding heartbroken. We share passion with each other and then choke. Then she looks hatefully at her mom. You're really going to just stand there and let Reagan kill me? Delphine gives her daughter a sympathetic smile. I tried so many times to redeem you, but you rejected God every time. Then you consistently violate God's commandment about killing. You even intended to kill me, your own mother, who helped bring you into this world. Reagan's a fucking killer too, Rigby protested. How many times has she violated that commandment? But Reagan is God's chosen angel of death, Delphine explains. She was sent by the Lord God in heaven to do his will, and now his will is for you to finally pay for your sins. I'm truly sorry, my daughter, but there's nothing I can do for you now. You've chosen your path, and now you must suffer the consequences of your choices. I can forgive you, my child, but God wishes for you to answer to him. She looks sad now. There's nothing I can do for you, Rigby. May God have mercy upon your soul. Then she tells Raige, you must do your appointed duty by God. Raige nods once. Then she turns and picks up the very same knife Rigby would have used on her own mom. Rigby looks up at Raige before she opens her mouth and screams, Oh, Jesus Christ, no! Then she struggles fiercely to break free. Oh my God! My God, your eyes! You really are Satan! I won't let you take me! I won't let you bring me to hell! It's much too late for you to repent now, Raige tells her. The police will find everything they need. They've already found and taken your hearts from the night of the blizzard. They'll find Franklin's heart on the table there and match it to his body, I'm sure. They'll even find your journals that your mother discovered that explain all of your murders, including what you intended to do to her. Raige raises the knife. And now, Rigby Brewster, Let the punishment fit the crime. Suddenly, I burst into the room and point my gun at Raige, my partner, my bride-to-be, the angel of death. Stop right there! And then I gasp when she looks at me, her eyes glowing hot and red. Now I wonder if I'm truly looking into the face of pure evil that has taken the form of the woman I fell madly in love with. Oh, please, Raige. No. Well, my friends, that's a bit of a cliffhanger, I would say. I guess you'll just have to come back here next week for the final installment in Raige's End and find out what happens next now that her lover Drake knows who she truly is and has dedicated his life to stopping her. Ooh, I got chills. I actually literally got chills just then. So make sure you come back next week and hear the final chapter in this saga. And I want to say a huge thank you to everybody who's been supporting the show so aggressively. Thank you so much. I haven't been as excitable as I would like to be. I have been going through a lot with my dogs both being sick and now Chicano having cancer. So sincerely, if you want to help at all, just go to weeklyspooky.com and click Help My Dog. I really do appreciate it. But I won't lie, this show keeps me going many, many weeks. So I hope you're all doing well. And I'm heading to Chicago this weekend, but I can't tell you why yet. So don't worry, I'll spill the beans as soon as I can. But now I want to take a moment to thank our Patreon podcast boosters, folks who pay just a little bit more to hear their names on the show. And they are Julia Kirsch, Christopher Sullivan, Brent McCullough, Gino Lyons, Steve King, Karen Weemet, Jack Kerr, Craig Cohen, and Kevin Fry. Thank you all so much. Your support means the world to me. And if you want to join that list of super spookies, just head to weeklyspooky.com, click on Patreon, and at $15 a month, you become a Patreon podcast booster, and you get a whole lot of clout for your money. But now, my friends, I'm going to get out of here and get ready for the next big spooky that I'm going to bring you on the weekly. So thank you all so much. For myself, for our producer, Dan Wilder, our executive producer, Rob Fields, and our composer, Ray Mattis, I will talk at you later.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to find your way back next week. But for now, you are safe. Trust me.